Fuck that. That shit's crazy, Greg's roommate said, slouched on Greg's couch and drinking a beer, still dressed in his work suit with his leather dress shoes resting on the coffee table. I just want to challenge myself. Try some new things, you know? Greg responded. How much do they pay these guys to not catch a fucking ball? Greg's roommate said, pleading to the TV. Why don't you just try some meds or go see a therapist? I want to exhaust all other options first. I feel like those are a last resort. I'm scared to fuck with my brain chemistry, Greg responded. I hear that guy touches people. What do you mean? You know. No, I don't know. He fondles his students. Oh, okay. 8 o'clock came around and Greg started to get ready to leave for the studio. It was a 20-minute walk and he didn't want to arrive late like a fucking idiot after everyone was already sitting down. He had done yoga classes before and expected a similar vibe. Good luck. Don't get fondled, Greg's roommate said as Greg left the apartment. Oh, okay, thanks. I'll try not. No problem. Greg entered the studio and it smelt like bodies. He thought about how he could never live with such an odor. He tensed up immediately after he entered and tried to avoid making eye contact with anyone in the foyer. He shot a tense smile and mouthed the word hi to anyone that he came close enough to and felt he couldn't ignore the presence of. He kept thinking about how an enlightened person would act and really didn't want to engage in any conversation and perhaps say anything that would snap someone out of their hard-earned enlightenment and piss them off. Oh my gosh, it's your first time? You're gonna love him, he's amazing. One girl oozed to another with a surely unstable amount of comfort and gratitude, Greg thought.
How would these people respond to physical confrontation?
As 8:30 approached, everyone had entered the dimly lit meditation room and had found their positions on the rows of meditation pillows. Most students were dressed for a mix of exercise and relaxation, most accompanied by a unique water bottle. At the front sat the guru on a pedestal. The guru took a few deep, long breaths, which were amplified by his collar-mounted microphone. Good evening, all. Welcome to tonight's 90-minute meditation. If you aren't ready to follow along and put in some serious work, then you can screw off, he said. Some students gave an appeasing giggle. Greg thought about if he had really touched people. Let's start by sitting with our backs straight, with the thread pulling on the crown of your head, up to the silky sky. Whenever you have an urge to move, even an itch, just acknowledge its presence and ignore it, and return to your breath. We'll start with our breathing exercises. For the next 10 minutes, the guru instructed them in breathing through different parts of their body. Some students exhaled very deep and relaxed breaths, and Greg felt self-conscious about imposing his exhale on others in the room. Greg's knees and ankles were killing him. He'd never sat cross-legged before, and wished he was sitting differently, and didn't think he could keep it up. Greg scanned his peripherals fearfully and curiously. Next, the guru led them in a body-scanning meditation. Greg had always considered himself stuck in his head and didn't know exactly what it meant to pay attention to his body or breath. Greg's joints were feeling like broken rocks. Now open your senses to sights and sounds, the guru said. One big orgy of sensation. Notice that all of these sensations exist in the same space. The guru was actually being more chill than Greg thought he would be, and Greg didn't think he would be accosted and humiliated after all. You are not your thoughts. There is no center to anything. There is no you. Now focus on your thoughts. They are no different than these other fucking sensations. Where do they come from? Where do they go? Cotton Eye Joe. Some students gave a more subdued giggle of appeasement. Greg was struggling with what his thoughts were. They seemed to him to be everything. Now picture you are on a beach, melting into the warm white sand, the waves crashing gently on the beach, palm trees rustling in the breeze as you look out into the vast blue ocean. Spread this energy of peace and gratitude all around. Share it with those that feel down. Share it with those that need some love. Forgive those that have hurt you. If there's anything bothering you, just feel it and... The guru was cut off by an aggressive sneeze. It was in fact about the 8th sneeze by this student if Greg had been counting correctly. Jesus Christ, get the hell out, the guru yelled. You've been sneezing this whole fucking time. The student covered their nose with their shirt, gathered their water bottle, and cowered out of the room. Unbelievable. I'm sorry, the guru scanned the room of students, defeated. Fuck, he yelled to himself, looking into his lap and now visibly agitated at himself. I can't believe it. I've done it again. Stupid Duba. Stupid Duba. He began rocking on his pedestal with his hands gripping his chair, clenching his face muscles. The students now had an energy of concern, and some began fidgeting. Some were still trying to continue their visualizations, but were clearly distracted. Like how you can tell when someone is pretending to sleep. Greg was now looking to others, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. The guru continued mumbling to himself and was now groaning and slapping his head as if being attacked from inside. A girl heroically yelled out, "You got this, Duba!" Duba sprang to his feet and sprinted from the room, screaming. Greg turned to the guy next to him. "Does this usually happen?" he asked. The guy gave no response and continued to stare confused at the front of the room. A couple of students raised quickly and immediately left the room as if violated. A few students stoically continued the meditation, perhaps hopefully awaiting the return of Duba. One student was reciting David Goggins quotes. Some students began weeping. Many sat shell-shocked. A couple had broken entirely into madness, full Duba mode. "What the fuck? He was the only reason I got back my sanity," one said, sobbing. "Am I insane now?" "He was everything. I tried so many others, and he was the only one I trusted," another cried. "I loved him," another cried out. Greg got up and hobbled out of the room. He was extremely grateful it had ended for the sake of his legs, and was relieved to see that Duba was human. Greg felt happy and airy on his walk home in the warm summer night. His senses were alive. He felt calm and one with the world. His roommate was still on the couch, now slightly more drunk. "How'd it go, bud?" his roommate asked. "I think we're all fucked," he replied.